and it's just going to be super crisp, super clear.
Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah, that just comes from
Yeah.
figuring it all out as you
Yeah.
try it out.
Yeah.
And, you know, going on and seeing what other people shoot with. Look at their pictures.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
ask them like, hey, what did you do here? What did you do that? And that goes back to what we were saying about the camaraderie of just like getting to know people, and you see them over, and then you're kind of just like spitting information to each other.
Mhm.
It might not be useful right away, or maybe it just gives you an idea to think about.
But you
something
might
else.
like 2 years from now, might be like, oh shit, you know, I want to shoot XYZ, and so had a special lens or whatever.
What were you using at that time?
Yeah, and that now it's right there.
Mhm.
You know, so
Hell yeah.
and I think the other another thing that's important is to just keep like. So when I first started, because I didn't really have like a direction I wanted to go, you know, I just kind of picked up whatever I thought I wanted. Now that I know kind of what I want to focus on, you know, it's like I have this amazing telephoto lens that I got for, you know, Christmas from my wife, but I use it for softball and outdoors, you know.
Mhm.
Now it's like I primarily shoot MMA and all that kind of stuff. So
Gotta have all those tools in the toolbox. I tell people all the time, man.
for sure.
Have all those tools in the toolbox, because it doesn't mean you're gonna use them all the time. But if you ever needed to, you can pull that bitch out. You can go, man. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
With you know, we're talking about all the different you know, all the lenses, and just going out there, and then just, you know, starting the whole freelance thing, and just kind of falling into shit. I love that, you know. But like, how
it's awesome, but man, it is fucking scary sometimes.
like, and that leads to my next the question.
Can I
like,
say that? Like, am I allowed to say
yeah, man, yeah. But that leads to my next question. Like, you know, how do you deal with you know, the creative blocks, and how you keep, you know, your inspiration going, or sometimes you ever catch yourself going through the motions, you know what I mean? So talk about you know, creative blocks, staying inspired, or just like even going through the motions sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hit roadblocks, creative blocks, you know, inspiration blocks. I would say more so creative than inspiration, because like I try to shoot whatever I can. So, you know, if I'm constantly more or less looking for new shit that I can shoot.
Yeah.
Right? And I think from that, whether I land that or not, it like still keeps me kind of like on my toes, right? Because I'm not settled into being comfortable with what seems to be working.
Yeah.
But, you know, like more or less, like for me, like creative blocks usually come in between the calm between the storms, you know, and like the storms will be like, okay, this is like clear. This is what I'm doing. I'm shooting an MMA event, or I'm doing a restaurant shoot or something like that. Versus like, okay, so now we have that gap in between where we start continuing to like work on our like craft and this and that. But that's why I said, you know, like if I pull my Lightroom up right now, dude, I probably have like 10,000 photos that are unedited in my imports, you know, and like, it's just everything.
Yeah.
Anything I've taken a picture of. And I will 100% sometimes, if I'm up at late at night or whatever, and I don't have something specific to edit, I'll go through there and I'll just pictures that I was like, I didn't like, or pictures that I had that were part of a shoot, but I gave, you know, the client or whatever what was required. And now these are all extra photos that I just have whatever to play with and shit. And that's usually what I do.
Hell yeah.
You know, because it kind of like helps me. It's kind of therapeutic at some point. And then it helps me to like, okay, now like I've done XYZ shoots and I've learned this on Lightroom or whatever. So now let me see what happens when I mess with the S curve, because I've never messed with the S curve, or I start making my own black and white photos, or I start, you know, using different tools and stuff like that. So, and that's really like where you have to keep doing it. Right.
Yeah.
Because I know, like for me, like, and I feel like maybe a lot of people have been there, especially when you're really want to get to a specific goal, you know, and like it's right there. Like it's right there. It's just not coming though. It's just not coming. And, you know, I think a lot of us, I know for myself, have had those nights where you're like, man, everything was going hot. Everything was great. I got a lot of response and feedback, and now it's just that, it's that lull. Right. So, and, you can't get comfortable on the things you've done. Like, because I can repost everything I've done for
Yeah.
a certain amount of time. And then eventually,
Yeah.
like, people say, okay, so that's the creative limits.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's what you can do. No, like, I want to continue.
Yeah.
I want to keep editing and then looking at my pictures and being like,
Yeah.
hell
And
yeah.
that self motivation and cause we're saying like the feedback is good from people,
Mhm.
but having that self motivation to always get a little bit better,
Yeah.
just get a little bit better. And like, even if like I've, this past event we did at the, at Elite Kickboxing for the smoker, I caught myself like, okay, I've shot XYZ. Let me start shooting different things that I normally, just so I can go mess with and edit it later. And that's, I like how you say
Yeah,
that you go back and look at
you're-
pictures like, all right, what haven't I done? What angles, what shots haven't I got?
Yeah.
So this way I can start working on those so I can incorporate them to get better at them.
For sure.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's a
and-
good way to.
Well, I mean, it's just like this, you know, you're talking about your workflow and stuff, but being able to, you're not focused specifically 100% on what's in front of you.
Mhm.
You're still able to maintain like that open mind, that open eye, and like still be creative in the moment of the process. Like, you know, like for Elite, like, dude, I love shooting there because the lighting is crazy and they got the gym stuff in the back.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there were some pictures that I snapped that, like, even though I wasn't necessarily happy with exactly how they came out because I was playing with some exposure stuff and some of them were underexposed, so there's a little bit of noise, but, you know, doing photos of like artsy style where someone's like sitting there about to fight and they're contemplating or thinking, and I'm like looking at them in the mirror or
Yeah.
something like that.
Hell
So,
yeah.
never done some shit like that.
Yeah.
It didn't come out 100, but
But yeah,
I'm
but now
like,
you have like
I
one
will
of,
100%
Yeah.
try that shit next time, adjust my exposure,
And
and
you know,
then
yeah.
I'll be like, this is the one, bro.